This is one of, if not my favorite build in the game. I've been playing Firestaff Rapier since this game has came out. Since the betas, I was playing this build, and this one has always been a lot of fun for me, a personal favorite, simply because it is really mobile, it has lots of damage, especially AoE damage, and it is really fast. I'm talking one of the fastest and one of the highest skill ceilings out of any build in this game. But most importantly, this build is really good for solo PvP gameplay. It is just entirely set up for that kind of playstyle. So if you want to go out there, play by yourself, you don't want to be reliant on something like a healer, you want to have options when you're outnumbered, this is the build for you. Okay, enough of the salesman crap. There is a written guide to this build linked down below if that's more your style. And of course, if you have an awesome clip that you want to see in the New World Top 5 fights, please send your clip to Kristofer at pvpnewworld.com. And as always, at the end of the video, I go through a bit of a breakdown of the build as well. So without further ado, let's get into that PvP commentary, hanging out inside of the Capture the Flag game mode here. And right off the bat, we've already picked up a couple nice kills on these players here. We're just using the movement from the Firestaff and Rapier. Lots of direction changes. There's a good incinerate. We get the counter stagger. We roll through them. And then once we have a little bit of line of sight, I right away go for that burnout. And I just love doing that with burnout because you can catch people off guard when they don't see you winding it up like that. I do manage to isolate one player here. We get some good damage in with the Firestaff. We get the backdraft explosion off on that heavy attack as well, but another Fire Mage comes in, and again, I use that burnout to try to break some distance, but I curl it back in to get the damage with the final hit, and then, oh my god, man, Flurry coming in so clutch. Just a great kind of trade there with Rapier to make sure I can seal that kill. And I just cut out a bit of the match here, and in this next part, again, we've got a lot of enemy players down in the bottom of this little staircase area here. We had a friendly player that ends up going down. I go for a heavy attack. We do land the heavy, try to get the incinerate, and there's the fireball as this guy comes running around the corner again. He's very low health, and that's one of my favorite things with fireball is that it is just a fantastic finisher move because it is so easy to hit. It's such a big AoE. As I go around that corner there, I am very out of stamina. We use Flurry just to kind of stall. We get caught by the scream when I try to burn out back through these guys, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I managed to get to the incinerate, land the fireball, and then roll through them again, and just lots of direction changing, lots of rolling through my opponents, and I love that charged up heavy attack as I drop down the edge. We do land it on the spear player there. He ends up taking a lot of damage from the Firestaff, and I think he drops his block just as I hit him with the burnout. Oh my god, maybe he had gone to use a move or something, but either way, we finish that guy off with that combo there. We jump on top of the last guy here, hit him with the Flurry into the flesh to finish him off. And now I've got another Capture the Flag match for you on the same map, but this is a different match. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm starting to really like Capture the Flag. I feel like the action in Capture the Flag is just constant. You can find so much good solo PvP here. And, you know, OPR, you tend to get zerged down or just piled on a lot harder than you do in Capture the Flag. So I've been enjoying that quite a lot. We get caught by the Greatsword player there, and he's whipping the Crescent Waves. I do a bit of a weave. We do eat a couple of the waves, but I managed to just kind of tank out that damage, quickly heal up around that corner, and then we get back on top of this guy, and right away we see he's very, very squishy. I've put quite a lot of damage into him just by hitting him with a couple attacks on the Firestaff. Try to hit him with the Rapier there. Unfortunately, he ends up being a little bit too far away, and he's whipping those waves, and I'm just being careful how I engage with this because this guy's very squishy. We can kill him quickly, but we need to bait him into something where we can actually get that combo off on him. I try to get him with the backstab there. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. We get a few good pokes with the Flurry, and then I turn around and just start whipping fireballs as they jump on top of a friendly player here. And now we're going to have a lot of enemy players kind of converging on one spot. I get the incinerate off on that archer and then just turn around, try to go for the backstab through. I actually get really good damage on him. We throw down that fireball, and just as he's about to come in and hit me with that stun off of the riposte, I roll out of the way. We land great damage with the Firestaff, and then there's the poke with the Rapier to finish that player off. I jump back on top of the enemy archer here, and I decide not to stay too aggressive, but instead just favor moving around the terrain here because I know there's a lot of enemy players in this area, and we would have got piled on real good had I not moved out of there. The friendly player ends up going down from the pile on, And now I find myself just being the target of all of this. We go for the flurry into the roll, and I managed to break distance and actually get off the edge and survive. But now we're in kind of a tricky spot. I go for the burnout right away because I did anticipate that they would actually follow me in that direction, but they end up going the other way. Either way, it ends up working out because I buy myself the time that I need to just kind of reset, get a little bit of healing in, and both of these enemy players end up just going back up to the top and not continuing to chase me now that my health is back up. And I just follow them back up to the top here. We're going to start with that burnout. The enemy sword and shield player, really good job by him just to stagger me in the middle of the burnout. Stop me from using that move. Looks like the fire mage jumps on top of me here. He just starts going for flamethrower, and oh my god, man, you cannot just flamethrower in front of a melee fighter like that. You're not going to win that trade. Flamethrower has not been able to do that for a while, so we managed to get the kill on that guy there. And then look at this craziness. That was an over 9k heavy attack. Yeah, I just get popped, just randomly popped by a huge heavy attack. Down I go. We end up coming back for round 2 against these guys, though, and yeah, right back at it in the kind of hallway here, working my way up the staircase. The sword and shield player just interrupting me as best he can. I go for some damage with the rapier there, and then as soon as I break a little bit of distance, I go for the burnout through everybody. I think we hit every single player with that burnout, so that was really good coverage on that move. And then I get on top of the enemy healer. He's very low health. There is the backstab off the flesh, and then one more light attack. We managed to connect and finish him off. And then we get on top of the archer here, and again, we just feed him so much damage with the fire staff. Switch to the rapier, and just as I go for the backstab, he actually catches me with the riposte, really well timed. And then I go for my burnout to try to catch him. Unfortunately, I hit the edge of the staircase there, so I don't end up getting the combo that I want. And the fire staff is enough to finish him off anyway. So yeah, there we go. More enemy players start coming out of the spawn. The friendlies just grab the enemy flag and then peace out of there. Void Gauntlet guy up top here. I'm being careful how I engage because I know the scream is coming. There is the incinerate, and still no scream, so I'm just going to go for the flesh through. We're going to go for the flurry right away, and no scream at all. He ends up just not screaming me. That's fine. I'll take it. We throw the rapier damage in. He goes down. We get a really good counter combo on the sword and shield player coming in. We finish him off with the rapier, and then there is the flesh to finish off the archer. Just like that, we take 3 more players down, and yeah, I am forced to just heal up after that. We really push that health bar to the limit in that fight. And the fire mage player just trying to stay right on my tail here. I drop down right behind him. I think he actually didn't see me. That's perfect. But the guy with the flag, I think it's the same guy who hit me for that super hard crescent. He's just whipping those crescent waves. So we have to be very conscientious not to get hit by that attack again. And then, oh my god, great fireball on the incoming player there. There we land. Huge damage on that sword and shield player, or the great sword player that hit me with that wave. We actually get a big combo into him, so he's very, very squishy. But he ends up retreating back up to the top. Nobody follows me down to the bottom, and I go for the burnout through here. We go on top of the archer because he's already lower on health, and it looks like we've got just a few enemy players just kind of playing it a little bit cautious at the top here, and I just go up to the top. I start attacking with my rapier here. We've got the flurry ready if we need it. The evade is back up. I turn around, flurry the air, just miss absolutely everything as the guy is right beside me. Oh my god, rapier tracking is just too good sometimes. And we do manage to attract this archer again though, and I again go for that backstab on him. We get a couple good, really quick backstabs into him, and I just keep trying to keep the pressure on him. There's the fireball to connect to finish him off, and down he goes, and that is the end of that clip. Moving on to the next one. This time we're in Outpost Rush. That's right, I still play some Outpost Rush. I'm not a capture the flag 100% kind of guy yet, but I'm getting there. So here we are at the enemy spawn. There's lots of enemy players that are coming out of the spawn, so the first thing I want to do is try to pull them away from that door. We've got one enemy Firestaff Blunderbuss player. I get huge damage with the rapier there. Get behind him with the backstab off the flesh. Go for the flurry into the light attack, evade. Almost take him down. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough damage, and there's a little bit too much enemy pressure for me to want to stick that combo out. And yeah, we just take a little bit of time to reset. Go for the, oh my god, big burnout onto this guy. He has no stamina left. Oh no, big mistake. We get on top of him with the rapier, very quickly finish him off with that combo. And then we get into the back line here of the red team, and Oh, that poor guy with the great axe. He literally just did a whole spin around me. He didn't hit me with his gap closer. And that's a nice incinerate. We get a good interrupt on a couple players as they're coming in, but I'm taking a lot of pressure, so I drop off the edge here. And I'm just going to quickly drop the fireball as they follow me off the edge. There is great damage off of the flurry. Oh my god, this guy is so close to dead. I go for the burnout through. The burnout connects. Down he goes. Now it's just me and the sword and shield player here. And this guy is just going for his sword and shield combo, switches to the great axe. We get huge damage on him with the rapier flesh as well. And he ends up running off, and that fight just turns into a big group mesh. So we're going to move on to the next clip here. The old school OPR map. Oh man, it has actually been a while since I've had quite a few fights here. I've just been playing Capture the Flag and pretty much sticking to Coral Divide when it's in rotation, but that's okay. We get a quick kill off on the healer there. Now, even though he was standing in his circle, he ends up dying there. I'm curious how much healing power he actually had, because it didn't look like he was healing a lot, but we catch the Great Axe player. He is out of stamina as he's coming out of the outpost there, so we finish him off as well with the Rapier, and I just keep the pressure on with the Fire Staff, trying to pick up as much damage as I can. And we're gonna see here, there's a good incinerate. We interrupt his combo there. We land the fireball on this guy, and he right away goes for his ultimate. I see it coming, go for the flurry, so we have those iframes up. We take no damage from his ultimate. We actually get net a very positive trade against that ultimate there. And then these guys just keep me, keep the pressure on me. I go inside the outpost. There's a lot of enemy players in there, so I definitely don't want to stay in there. We go for the burnout back out. And now we've got three enemy players out here, and this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. We use the positioning and movement just to turn the fight into something a little bit more favorable numbers-wise. And then this guy ends up blowing his stamina right away with the spear. We get great damage in with the Fire Staff. And then there is the Incinerate. He ends up just dodging out of it in time. Beautiful damage off of the backstab. Oh my god, Flesh is so good with Rapier. And we take that guy down, and then the fight just turns into more. But I love this kill here. Look at that burnout. We hit him with the first, and then we curl back around to hit him with the second part of the burnout. Anyway, here's a look at the build for you guys. We are running mostly intelligence, but 100 dexterity is a must-have for that rapier damage. You could go 100 con, 150 con, even 200 con. It's really up to the user. The rapier side of things, I am running my standard rapier tree that I have been running for quite a while now. This one is amazing. Every single skill is good at attacking. It's good at defending. You have excellent utility with this kind of a setup, so you can do so much with it in PvP. And then the Fire Staff side of things, I am running kind of that weird Fire Staff tree. We got Backdraft for that big heavy attack damage once we've got somebody burning. And then, of course, Fireball, Incinerate, and Burnout. Now, taking a look at the gear here, I've got the Narwhal Tusk with Sundering Stacks. This is probably the easiest 725 rapier to get right now. I wouldn't recommend investing in a 725 rapier outside of something like the Narwhal Tusk, simply because Season 10's around the corner. You don't want to dump a ton of money. On the Inferno, I've gone with Empowering Fireball. We've got the Ignited Gambit on the Inferno. On the Narwhal Tusk, I actually have the fire damage split because we have a lot into additional fire damage on this build. And then we've got the Djinn headwrap. This is what everybody's running right now. Seriously, it's so good against those negative effects. You just cut down damage over time. You can cut out disease and stuff like that, but I've actually gone for a damage over time reducing Djinn setup, just with the base disease reduction that we get. As you can see on the gloves, I've got one piece of vigor. We've got vital synergy on the chest piece. We've got shirking energy on the legs. Leeching flurry is a must-have perk to make this build work. And then, of course, I've got Hasted Vigor on the boots for that additional haste that we can get from it. I have the Life Ring Amulet as well with Divine Health and Shirking Empower. You could go for a protection perk instead of Shirking Empower, or even Stamina Recovery. It's up to the user here. I really like Shirking Empower because we get to keep that Empower up as often as possible. Even though the Fire Staff is over Empower on this build, I still like having Shirking Empower. And then, as you can see, the ring has the fire damage there. And then we've got Endless Thirst for the earring because of the amount of healing it gives you is absolutely crazy this patch. And then, of course, Stone Form for the Heart Rune. And that is the build, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time.